Just heard banging, really, really loud banging.
In fact, it was gunshots that echoed through this quiet Oshawa community, waking up residents just after 1 a.m., and then there was something else.
And screaming, a female screaming. I didn't know what was going on, but the banging continued.
All deceased members were known to each other, and it's believed that the alleged suspect died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
For the Trainer family continues to grow after 4 family members were shot and killed last Friday.
A tightly knit community in Oshawa is reeling for the 4 family members shot dead inside their home on Friday morning. The mother of the family, 50-year-old Loretta Trainer, is the only survivor. The accused gunman is her brother.
This is the street here where the murders had taken place. We'll head on over now to the cemetery and I'll finish telling the story.
Hello, what's up everybody? I am here again at the Resurrection Catholic Cemetery here in Whitby. I had written down some notes on this story as well, and I forgot them. So I'll do my best to explain the story or tell the story from what I can just remember off the top of my head. Well, on the early morning of September 4th, 2020, Mitch Lappa would arrive at his sister's residence in Oshawa after driving from Winnipeg. And when he would arrive, he arrived as a uninvited person. And when he arrived there, he had one thing on his mind, and that was murder. So he showed up at his sister's door. He entered the residence, and he shot and killed his sister's husband, Christopher Trainer, and her 3 children. The 4th was away at school in Kingston. Amongst the 3 children were Bradley, age 20, Adelaide, age 15, and Joey, he was 11. Loretta Trainer, the wife of Christopher and the sister to Mitch, would be wounded, but she survived. Then Mitchell would turn the gun on himself and commit suicide. Christopher Trainer was a teacher at Monsignor Paul Dwyer Catholic School. He was described by neighbors as being one of the best neighbors you would ever have. He would often be seen playing tennis with his children, doing chores in the yard. They described them as being a very close family. Christopher was also a softball coach, and the youngest son, Joey, was on the Legionnaires rep team. This was a really sad and tragic event that happened in Oshawa. It was just cold-blooded. So the oldest son, Sam, he was away in Kingston at school. Bradley, who was 20 years old, he was a 3rd-year Bachelor of Commerce at the University of Guelph, I believe. Adelaide was a student at her father's school that he taught at as well. I believe she would have been going into grade 10. So, I mean, she just got into high school. Joey was still in elementary school. I guess he would have been going into maybe grade 6. And I guess he had dreams. He wanted to play for the Dodgers. And that was taken away from him. When friends and family started to arrive at the scene and were talking to detectives, when they saw a white Ford pickup truck with Manitoba license plate, they said it wasn't hard to determine who was behind it. One friend had described Mitch as a intelligent but abusive person. She stated that he had once invited people over to a party at their parents' residence when they were in high school. I think they went to O'Neill Collegiate. He had set off fireworks, shooting them at the patrons at the party. And apparently he had seriously injured or seriously burned a girl that was at that party, and said, "Thanks for coming out." She stated that he just started to become really creepy and weird and was just an unstable person. Another friend said that he would manipulate and bully people. Another friend said that he was actually arrested for walking with a handgun down an Oshawa street, but it's unsure as to what became of that. Mitchell Lapa was living in Fort McMurray, Alberta for a time, where he was a bus driver, and he ended up in Winnipeg, where he worked for a property management company. When looking for a motive as to why Mitch Lapa would do this to his sister's family, it was discovered that Matthew Lapa, Mitch and Loretta's father, had a will that he signed in 2015 that would give Loretta sole ownership of a cottage property. It was between Bancroft and Peterborough, somewhere in the Kawarthas. And he signed the ownership over to Loretta in, I believe, 2018. Also in the will, it stated that Loretta and her 4 children would get all the proceeds from the Oshawa home owned by Matthew Lapa, which sold, I believe, in March of 2020 for approximately $430,000. And in the will, and it didn't state why, but Mitch would only be receiving $30,000, and that if he tried to challenge it, that he would be cut from the will entirely. Matthew Lapa would die in 2019. I guess this really enraged Mitch to where he felt the need that he had to murder his sister's family, his own nieces and nephews. This guy Mitch, he didn't live a good life. He was scum. He was a piece of crap. Loretta and her family, they were living life the right way. Their children were being raised in a good home. Those kids had a very promising future. And this POS took that away from them. All over greed, all over money. Like this guy Mitch, he drove all the way from Winnipeg to Oshawa. I mean, that's gotta be a 20+ hour drive. You know, left alone with his thoughts, and he just had one thing on his mind and one thing only, and that there was going to be blood. This guy was such a coward that he took his own life so he didn't have to deal with the aftermath of that disaster that he had caused. And I almost feel that he purposely just wounded his sister so she can suffer. There was another brother too, but I couldn't find much info on him. But from what I found was that Loretta and the older brother still had a relationship. Everything was good between them. But I don't think Mitch had children or was married or anything. I didn't see anything online about that. So you gotta understand that, you know, Loretta had 4 children, and Matthew, I'm sure he wanted to see his grandchildren succeed in life. That was for his grandchildren too. And this guy, in just a fit of rage, eliminated this woman's family, entire family, with the exception of one son who wasn't there. Had he had been there though, you know, he would have taken him out too. And the oldest son, Sam, having to live with the agony of the loss of his father and all 3 of his siblings. This was such a disgusting act. This takes a real sick person to just commit such a heinous crime like this. This was just cold-blooded. I know this family has a long road to recovery emotionally. I mean, this has got to be hard for Loretta and her oldest son, Sam. It's just crazy to think that, you know, that there's people out there that could do that to their own brother, their own sister, niece, nephews. Crazy world we live in. So now, I'll go and I'll take you to where the Trainer family is buried. Well, here it is. This is Chris Trainer. He was the father and the husband to Loretta. Right here it says J.A.B. Trainer, which I believe would stand for Joseph, Adelaide, and Bradley. These 4 lives were taken away way too soon, in just cold blood. They did not deserve this at all. May these children and Chris Trainer, may they all rest in eternal peace. My condolences to the family. Alright guys, that's it for me. Until the next video, see ya.